Hey, real estate rock stars, welcome to the whole enchilada of real estate investing, the only podcast that serves up the full feast of street smart strategies to build wealth and take control of your financial future. I'm Lou Brown, and I've been in the real estate game since 1976, so I've learned how to make the whole plate worth it. Each week, I'll be dishing out creative financing hacks and proven systems that help investors build multi-million-dollar businesses. No fluff, just the good stuff, straight from the source. Ready to dig in and start making deals? Let's get to it. Welcome, everybody, to another installment of the whole enchilada of real estate investing with Lou Brown. And man, I'm excited today that we have a winner, someone who has been there, done that, and caused things to happen in his world. And he's going to teach us, train us, and give us some great information today on real estate. Mr. Dan Ahlborn, how are you?
Lou, I am doing excellent. Thank you so much. I'm excited to chat with you today, man. I've heard a lot about you, and the things you're doing is really amazing. So I'm excited to be able to talk to your audience today.
It's a beautiful thing. You know, one of the things in doing research on you and what you do, I was really inspired by learning that you are taking real estate in a holistic way. What does that
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah, thanks for asking. I'm a slow learner, Lou. I've been in this game for a few years. You've got maybe a few on me, but for over 16 years. In the first 12 years of that, I failed forward. I just was not very productive. I was I was stubborn, I guess maybe call it that. I wasn't going to quit. So what I realized, I had some pivotal points in my life that really transformed my life and my business. And what I found, what was holding me back the whole time, Lou, was me.
Uh,
And more importantly, these thoughts, these self-limiting beliefs that I had imposter syndrome. I'm sure no one watching this has ever had imposter syndrome, but that's what stopped me. I would get so close to success and then I'd be like, see, I knew that wasn't going to work. I knew that marketing strategy, all the negative crap. So I had to really rewire my brain with the neuroscience that our brain is wired with and basically carve new neural pathways in the brain of like, here's how I want to be, here's who I am. And I stepped into that new identity. So teaching people that foundationally almost gives you a leg up of getting past some of the suck, because in any business, there's going to be challenges. What are you going to do? Are you going to stand firm or are you going to fold? So with the right mindset, you can stand firm and push through things. And that's
You
when you
are
see
so
success.
right about that, man. This is a very powerful message that you're giving right now because it is in the mind. We know
Mm,
it's possible. We see other people doing it. We
right.
know it's real. So, I always say there's only one variable in the whole process, and it's you, right? So,
Yeah.
that human being human. And when that human being be's human, what happens is, you get stopped, like you said. And I really think you're correct about the self-limiting beliefs. Guys,
Mm,
listen to that. We all have self-limiting
mm.
beliefs. It's why some people can build 50-story beautiful skyscrapers, and other folks are limited to single family homes, right?
Yeah.
Because in your mind, you can't see yourself building the 50-story skyscraper. So
Hmm.
it's fascinating to watch how different mindsets really change the perspective on what's possible.
Well, think of it this way, Lou. Our mind is a muscle. Much like if you work out, if you want to get strong, you have to continually work that muscle over and over. So if you come in with these mindsets, which we're all prone to them, some of it could be just our family, our history, like this is the way the Allborns always did it. This is the way the Browns always did it. So we come into this world with kind of some already preconceived notions, true or false. The good news, we get to choose the narrative, right? That's where we get to do. It could be things that life events that happen to us. Much of our foundational beliefs are formed from age 3 to 7. So there could be traumatic things that have happened during that or even later in life that now we have these limiting beliefs. Once you're aware of that, that's when you can really, okay, identify that and you know who you want to be deep down inside. We all do. right? But it's that what stops us. So the beauty of this, it's not woo-woo, it's actual science that you can do things to change the way your brain thinks. Case in point, say someone who swears a lot, right? That's their automatic. We hear some people, they swear like a sailor. Every other word is a colorful word, right? You can change that, right? You can stop swearing. Well, guess what? It's the same thing with these limiting beliefs. You can change that, and there's processes you can do. And I teach that you can actually reframe that in your brain and then practice it to get more better, to step into and flip that identity to who you want to be.
Yeah, I like that. It's trainable. There's processes and procedures. You can
Mm-hmm.
adopt it. You can agree that you're going to change what you're doing. That's, I think that's the first step, right?
Yes.
People, people have to
Yeah, yeah, you got
decide
to
that they
start
want
there.
to
Yes,
change.
sir.
That's a beautiful thing. So now you've been in the business 15 years?
16 years. Yeah,
16 years
2010
now.
is when I got in this in the
Oh,
ride here.
yeah, that was when the ride was happening, man, wasn't
I
it?
was on the tail end of '08 trying to figure it out, and a lot of people got out, right? So I got in at that point.
What market did you get in at?
Yeah, so I started in northeastern Wisconsin, the Green Bay area specifically, even more niche down if people know Wisconsin, the Fox Valley area, beautiful area, always like top 5, top 10 places to live in the US every year.
Mm. Oh, wow. That is a good place to choose. And one places like that typically are very competitive. Did you have an issue with that?
Yeah, there is competitive, and the other thing is it is somewhat small. A lot of times you'll hear people talking about get into you have to have an MSA, right? Your market size. You want to be somewhere between 3 to 500,000 people. Well, outside of the Packers, which everyone knows about as a football team, the city itself is only about 100,000 people. So you almost have to go like 7 counties deep, Lou, to get to the quantity of people. And there's a lot of rural areas in that area, of Wisconsin. So it's not the density that most would be. So there is some challenge in that. And with that, there are a lot of good players. And there were people that early on I looked up to, and I'm like, man, I can't do that. So there was some of that as well, absolutely. In dealing with some of just the limitations of the size of the market that I had to realize early, I had to go wide in order to be successful. I couldn't just focus on like Green Bay proper. I had to get into the sub metros and things like that, or go outside of the area, go to the lakeshore where there's some other smaller cities that we could target. So,
I like that. And one of the things that I realized in my market, which is the Atlanta, Georgia market, is that
mhm.
I was a long distance investor in the town that I was in
Ha,
because
interesting.
because I didn't even go to the properties. I had people that would go and take the
Yeah.
pictures for me and do things, and I really didn't have to be present to it. And we actually
Hmm.
created a course called Long Distance Investing, but it really makes a lot of sense that you expand your marketplace and you look for what the opportunities are. And sometimes right next door is very affordable housing
Yes.
than right in your own backyard, right?
You're right. And that as well was a mindset shift for me too, Lou, because early on I was the belly to belly guy. Like I knew, because it was just me. I was solo YOLO, right? I was the guy going signing the contracts. I knew if I got in front of the people, I had a very good chance of closing because I solved problems. But then I'm like, well, I can't do that. How can my mind was limited. Like, I can't do that virtually. Well, fast forward, I live now in Southwest Florida, basically paradise, right? And I still run my business very effectively. If not, we're growing at a pretty exponential rate in Wisconsin. So I had to kill that mindset to be able to do everything remote, almost much, I'm sure what you teach in your course, Lou, but it's finding the right people, the boots on the ground. I've not been in a property now in probably 4 years, maybe 5 years.
Oh my gosh. Well, guess what? I'm right here in Florida in our house in Florida as well.
Beautiful.
And that's one of the things, guys, I want you to take away from what we're talking about today is you do not have to do this in your own backyard. You can have whatever target market you choose,
Mhm.
and you can be doing it from any place you want to, like Florida, for example.
Yeah, not the worst place in the world to be, right, Lou?
Not the worst place in the world. And we actually got this house last year by taking over existing financing.
Mm,
One of my favorite things is buying
yes.
subject to the existing loan. Do you do any kind of investing like that?
Yeah, I mean, our primary marketing strategy is wholesaling, but for sure, we just did a subject to deal a few months back. I've done some rent to own, lease options. I have a handful of rentals myself. I guess being in the game a few years, you kind of put a few more tools in the tool belt. Done some rehabs. I realized that's not my cup of tea, but I understand it. I know what goes into it. I've just become more specialized. That really, we primarily our disposition model is cash sales with wholesaling, and we're doing a lot of novations right now. We're probably about a 60-40 split novations and then wholesales.
Interesting, interesting. So for our new people that are here today, tell them what a novation is.
Yeah, a novation is an amazing strategy. Now, one of the main things they teach you in wholesaling, Lou, as you know, is you need to get a cash buyers list, right? And that can be a challenge. I've always said you find a good deal, you find your list, because people are going to come out of the woodwork to want it, right? So that's the first challenge. But what if you could take your deal and put it out to the biggest cash buyers list that you could ever find? That's the MLS. So basically, what you're doing is you're doing a replacement. That's what a novation is. You go into contract with the seller with a full understanding, explaining, like, listen, Mr. Seller, I'm able to pay you more because we're going to bring in some of our retail partners along with some of our investors. We just need to be able to have them join us for the journey. So you go and do the marketing, you have them sign what's called an attorney in fact, which then that gives you the power to then, of course, market the property, which also means to list it on MLS. And you tell them, listen, we'll take care of everything. We'll take care of the realtor fees. If there's any concessions or repairs needed, we'll take care of all. We're going to get you the price that you want. And I'm able to pay you more than the cash offer. So that's very, very favorable for most sellers. And they just need to give us, the reasonable access, and they'll be able to market the property. We're very clear and transparent. That's the key with novations. Don't hide anything. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that gives this industry a bad name. Be open and honest. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how I'm going to serve you. You want this number? Here's how we get you there. And that's never served me wrong, Lou. And we've had a very high degree of success. Matter of fact, we just closed a month ago. I think we did $53,000 on a novation deal. So I mean, and we have two this month. We're going to bring across the line. That's going to get us $70,000 in novations. I mean, it is an amazing strategy. You have to do it correctly, like with anything. But once you understand and execute it, it opens up the amount of opportunities. These are leads that you would probably throw away because you're thinking, oh, that's a retail buyer. Where now you can probably negotiate with them because they're going to be in a span of space that makes sense to them, and they want the convenience, and they're going to give you a higher price.
Yes, yes. And that's one of the things, guys, that you want to take away from this is that novations allow you to be risk-free. You
Mm-hmm.
really don't have the situation of closing on a property, then hunting for a buyer and hoping for the right
Right.
market and the right financing and
Yeah.
all of that sort of thing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you have the biggest buyers list at your fingertips, and then you just find an agent who you can work with that'll do a lot of that for you. And then the great thing, if there's a few good things that's come out of the NAR, is obviously you can negotiate with that agent and say, hey, here's what I'm going to pay. Like now we have a really good deal. I mean, we're pushing out 3 to 5 deals a month with this agent with our novations, and they're quite happy. They're making very good money, and we feel like we're pretty treated fair. But yeah, I think that way you don't even worry about dispo, right? Which is sometimes the challenge in this business. How do I liquidate the deal?
What do you say when people are concerned about the changes in the laws of wholesaling? And I guess that hasn't hit Wisconsin yet, huh?
Well, there's been some discussion about it. Obviously, south of us in Illinois, you can't do it, right? But then you double close. I think the one thing we've always been, Lou, as investors, we're savvy. So when laws come in, we just find other creative ways of doing this. There's discussion that eventually wholesaling goes away. There's discussion that novations go away. There'll always be a way to position this, that we can be creative. So I guess what I would say, the important thing is just always be upfront and honest with your seller. Like they know we're not the end buyer. Like if you're the guy that's coming and says, I'm going to buy it, I'm going to be there. There was one time early in my career, Lou, that I was not maybe as clear. And I don't think I was trying to be deceptive, but I just wasn't clear. And when the seller said to me, what do you mean you're not buying it? I had just a pit in the bottom of my stomach. And I'm like, I never want that feeling again. So I made it a mission that I was overly clear, like, listen, I'm not going to be the guy, but I'm still going to be able to get your price as long as you're willing to work with me. I have a great network of other people that will buy it, and they might be able to pay a little bit more than me. So that's why I'm bringing them in to get you your number. You're serving them. You're solving their problem. When you position it that way, it's not a big deal. They don't care as long as they're getting the number and you're going to close, right? That's the other thing, making sure
Yeah,
you.
right. Those are the two things they care about, right?
Yeah, right. Is this going to close or not? And yeah, I say, listen, it is conditional on getting a partner, but usually I've been in this space for a while. I know the numbers work. I know my buyers in my area. Like we just had one recently that I knew was going to fly off the shelves, and it did. And we're making like 37 on it on a wholesale. So it's like we know if we price it right, we can be very confident with the seller. Like absolutely. And this is a deal we brought in. It came in like literally the beginning of the month, and this thing will be done in like 23 days. 20 about 37.5 in our pocket on a wholesale deal.
I love that. So when you talk to the seller, you're actually arriving at a number that you're going to pay that seller. And the seller understands that you're going to be marketing it for a higher price. And the seller
Absolutely.
understands that you're going to be making a profit.
Which is even more clear with Novations, Lou, because with the wholesale process, the seller probably because the way you can set up your statements and things like that, you can have like double statements. So the seller doesn't necessarily know what you make. On a Novation, if you're doing it the way that most people teach, your fee is going to show on that settlement statement on the sell side. Now you can double close, and there's ways of getting around that as well. But at a bare minimum, you're going to be putting out MLS, right? All one person needs to do is search their property. So that's one of those other things of just educating the seller. Well, like, Mr. Seller, just so you know, of course, we're going to have to market this property. We're going to list it higher than what we've discussed. But remember, we need to make a profit. We're probably going to take a discount on the price. We're going to pay for all the concessions, the realtor fees, all that stuff you don't need to worry about as long as you give us reasonable access. I'm just letting you know that now. I don't want to have any surprises. I want you to be fully aware. I'm sure that makes sense to you, right, Mr. Seller? Well, they already know it. So when they go online and say, okay, we have it under contract for 150 and now it's online for 185, 190, they get it, right? So you want to make sure there's no surprises because the last thing you want a seller to feel is like a bait and switch or like, well, they didn't tell me that. So that's why you almost want to be, not that you need to oversell it, always keep it simple, but you at least need to tell them all the fine details that could be a potential bottleneck in this transaction.
That's beautiful. And one of the things that's a takeaway, hopefully for you, is we have a program, we call it the House Monster, which means find the buyer before you buy. So you've
Yeah,
already got a customer, they've already been pre-vetted, we already know how much down payment they have, and we can literally be the bank for them.
I
So
love
that
that.
does allow us to sell it at a higher or much higher price and
Hmm.
perhaps not even have it in the MLS. Many times, like most of the time, we do not use the MLS simply because we've already got a customer for a property before we buy it.
What a savvy way to go about it. Absolutely. I love that.
It's a beautiful thing. And one of the things about being a certified affordable housing provider is when we're talking to the seller, we talk to them about our program. We tell them that their
Mm.
home is going to be used in our program to help a deserving family end up with home ownership. And I found out that that was important to sellers. I found out that they actually love the fact that the place
Yes.
that they raised their kids and grandma died in the back bedroom and all of that sort of thing, all those emotions
Mm.
transfers because
Hmm.
now they're helping another family have an experience in that home as well.
So powerful. So powerful. And I dare say that many times gets you an opportunity that normally others wouldn't because they see the purpose behind what you're doing. And people love purpose and mission. So
That's
you're just
it.
not average Joe buyer. You are like, we have certified affordable housing and we're making a difference in this world, not just to flip a fast buck as most investors are. Yes, we're going to make a profit, but we're also serving a larger need. So it really paints an amazing story, Lou. And I would only imagine you're super successful with positioning things that way.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And we actually have a book called Doing Good While Doing
Mm,
Well.
I
And
love that.
how real estate investors provide a service and make a difference is the
Hmm.
subheadline to it. And we actually present that book to our sellers. And
Wow.
each one of my licensees has a chapter in the book. So they're able to highlight themselves in the community, the same community that the seller's in, that kind
I
of thing.
love that.
Yeah,
Wow. That's cool.
it's got a special twist to it. And one of the reasons I was attracted to you was your purpose driven way
Mm.
of doing your business and really being able to motivate people in a different way and having them look at their businesses not just as a one and done. Hey, you can
Right.
make some fast bucks and I always laugh. It's sort of like on the Monopoly board, they've got the just visiting uh, part. I'm going. are you just visiting this business?
Right.
Or is this is your career and you're going to do this now for decades to come? And when people come with the right mindset, like you're saying, then they're
Mm.
looking at it from the long-term perspective.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, early on, the number of times I've wanted to quit real estate, Lou, I don't have enough fingers, truthfully. Like you hit those roadblocks, and early on, my mind wasn't right. Some weird way, I'm going to call it God, that he's like, keep going, Dan, right? Keep banging your head against the wall. But yeah, and then the mindset shift was I had to see this as a vehicle because after the excitement wears off, after you get off the webinar, the podcast where the guy promotes this great opportunity as it is, the newness wears off, and then the reality of like this is a business that takes time, energy, effort, and sometimes some money to get after it, right? So once you see this as a vessel to get you where you need to go, and if your mind is right and you have a clear vision of what you're trying to do, because one of the other things I teach in this Flip Your Future formula within my program is really the foundational stuff. What are your values? What's your mission? And like a lot of people think, well, I don't need that until I get a team. No, you need that day one because that is your anchor, your rudder. If you don't have clarity in what you're trying to accomplish and how you're going to do it, you're going to be you're going to do what I did for the first 12 years, right? So when I've rebuilt my business 3 times, the third time I did it, Lou, I was so intentional with culture, with mission and vision. Even when I had one employee, I was pounding in the core values of what I am and what I'm trying to do. And the team I have today, these are the team. I mean, these people run through the wall for me because they see the bigger purpose of what we're trying to accomplish and who we're trying to serve. So I think much like how you're aligned, you have a great core values and what you're trying to do, starting that early, almost from the onset, like is so important. And that's part of my foundational piece. The first step of this program is that building the mindset and then the core piece of your business.
I love that. And I think it is important when everyone, regardless of where you are in your career right now, whether you are just getting started or whether you've got a few units or whether you've got over 100 units, you've got the opportunity to literally reform yourself
Mhm.
and your business, the mission that you have. For example, Dan, our mission is to transform lives through
Mhm.
affordable housing, to empower families and individuals to enjoy the American dream of home ownership.
I love it. Yeah.
So that whole mission there is what all of our licensees adopt. And
Hmm.
that becomes part of who they are and what they
Hmm.
do in the community with sellers, with buyers, with lenders. And so I agree with you 100%. If you've got your foundation in place, really your values, what are your core values? I think that's a great takeaway for everybody today is really sit down with yourself and ask yourself, what do you stand for? What do
Hmm.
you not stand for?
Yeah.
What are you not willing to stand for?
Well, and one of the things I do, one of the exercises I take in my program, Lou, is I basically have people just kind of close their eyes. Now, if you're driving right now and you're listening to this, don't do this, please, okay? But if you're somewhere you could actually do this, you close your eyes and for a brief moment, think of like an amazing period and point in your life where you felt outstanding. Think of like you as Superman or Superwoman, where you're kind of peeling back the S on your chest and you're like, man, that was amazing. What were the thoughts, the ideals, the values you felt at that moment? Quite honestly, if you then took a pen and paper, and this is like a 3 to 5 minute exercise that people do, but at a high level, you do this, and you're going to find that there's probably 7 or 10 of those that you're going to write down really quickly. 3 to 5 of them probably be your core values. And now you can build around that. That's who I am. That's what my business is to represent. And then from there, you can build your mission statement behind that, much like Lou. Mine is to be the best real estate wholesale company in the state of Wisconsin, but by providing people an unbelievable experience that they feel compassionate with integrity, and that through the whole process, they feel like, in a nutshell, we're investors that care. We're not just not here to push them through a system. We want them from step A to the end, that they feel loved and that we really understand their situation. So that all those things come together. And when you do that, like you said, it doesn't matter if you've been in this business for, a day one or, year 12, you can do exactly what you said and start this now because the best time to start is when? Now. So do the action, step into that, create that, and now you're going to start seeing how you can get more freedom back because there's a lot of people that have been doing this forever that are frustrated and the business is eating them alive. Where's the freedom that this business is supposed to give you? Well, you have to tell it. It's much like time and money. If you don't tell the business what to do, it'll tell you what to do.
Exactly. One of the things I always tell people is imagine your life with 4 vacations a year, literally quarterly
Yeah.
vacations. What does that look like? And where is that on the calendar? And
Right.
how many days are each one of those vacations? And where are you going? And that type of thing. So they can get their head around that this is a freedom generating business.
Mhm.
And the question becomes, are you going to generate your future? Are you going to cause yourself to have a better life than the one you've got?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a mindset shift, right? I mean, there's a period of time where there's a grind factor in this business. You got to learn some things, but as you get into this, you have to realize that you are your own bottleneck. And when you feel like it can only be done by you, I'm going to tell you, you are the problem. And we talked about that already, Lou. So once you start understanding there can be systems, there can be other people, you can leverage things to help you buy back your time. Dan Martell, amazing book. If you haven't read that, get it. Do the exercise he talks about, the time study for 2 weeks, as painful as it is. You'll be surprised to see how many things you could actually offload to another person, an AI tool, whatever, to buy back your time. And through that, you're going to find, allowing me to do that, I know that personally, my business has grown exponentially. And I have more free time and availability. I mean, I think over the next, last half of the year, we're traveling probably almost a week or two every week, whether it's some
Yes.
business stuff, some personal stuff. We're going back to home to Wisconsin here for a full week just to hang out with friends and family and just goof off and enjoy good times with people. Because at the end of the day, the two things that matter the most, Lou, are going to be personal experiences and people.
That's
You can
right.
do that with a lot of
Memories.
money, or you can do that with no money. So when you boil it down to those two main things, and you put those things as priorities in your life, and you start scheduling that stuff, you build your business around that stuff.
What great advice, man. This is a takeaway day for all of you that are here today. And so exciting to have Dan Ahlborn here. He is experienced, background knowledge. Dan, tell us about yourself. Tell us about how we get in touch with you and all those goodies.
Yeah, I mean, some of the easiest ways is follow me on Instagram at housebuyerdan.com. You can go there, send me a DM if you like. I actually have a free ebook that I can get to you guys talking about kind of the 5 things that can help you grow and expand your business. If you also want to, I have a free Facebook community that's growing pretty fast and deals with mindset and real estate. So that kind of the core tenets of what I'm teaching. And I have a heavy faith component. I'm a big man of faith. So, I'm not here to pound anyone over the head with Jesus, but anyone who knows me or follows me can clearly see that God's the guiding light in my life. So, but yeah, follow me on the socials, connect with me, send me a DM. I'd love to connect and talk with you.
I love that, man. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for all the beautiful takeaways and looking forward to connecting again real soon. Yeah,
Sounds good,
baby.
Lou.
Thanks for tuning in to the whole enchilada of real estate investing. I hope you're feeling ready to take your investing game to the next level. If you're serious about building wealth, you won't want to miss the Millionaire Jumpstart. It's a 3-day live event that's perfect for any level of investor. Whether you're just getting started or you're looking to scale, this can be one of the final steps of making real wealth happen. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now at millionairejumpstart.com and get ready to make big moves in your real estate journey. I'm Lou Brown. Until next time, keep hustling. And remember, it's not about how much you make, it's about how smart you play the game.